Week 13 waiver wire. Let's get it started. Do you have questions at quarterback? Don't worry, I got you. Matthew Stafford, the man has been solid the last 2 weeks. Goes up against the New Orleans Saints, who don't really scare you. I love his receiving core. He has a running back that catches the ball. Stafford's been top 8 in back-to-back weeks. I think he'll be a pretty solid start. Next up, Caleb Williams. Caleb was quarterback 4 last week, going up against the Minnesota Vikings, who are good against the quarterback position. He has another bad matchup against Detroit, but I like the way he's been running the ball as well. I think that he could be a pretty solid start. Next up, Russell Wilson going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a divisional matchup, so I wouldn't expect it to be crazy high scoring, but I'm also not concerned about the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Russ should be able to put up a solid performance. Also, check to see if Geno Smith is out there, going up against the Jets, who used to scare you, but not so much anymore. Are you having a rough time at running back? Don't worry, I got you. There actually are running backs to pick up this week. With Brian Robinson Jr. getting banged up in this week's game, and Austin Eckler being in a concussion protocol, Jamie McNichols is immediately very relevant and could get most of, if not all of the work. Must grab if you need a running back this week. Next up, we got Gus Edwards. J.K. Dobbins got banged up in Monday night's game. With us not knowing the status, Gus Edwards could be an incredible grab or a mid grab. Because if J.K. Dobbins is out, Gus Edwards is going to get all the work. Now, I don't love Gus Edwards, but work is work. And this is a good offense that loves to run the ball. I think he'd be a good grab, assuming he gets to work. Next up, Amir Abdullah. My man balled out, had almost 18 fantasy points last week. The rushing game was but the passing game, he got it done. 6 targets, 5 receptions, got himself in the end zone. If Zamir White and Alexander Mattison don't come back, he gonna get the work. And I think that he's a viable play. Now, if one of them come back, he might be splitting work, which is less appealing, but I do like him in the receiving game. And also, don't forget to get your handcuffs. If you have an open spot on your roster, you should be grabbing high valuable handcuffs. At this point, you're looking for some upside. And if some of these players go down, their backups would come in and be fierce. Stay ready. Are you weak at wide receiver? Don't worry, I got you. Wide receivers aren't fantastic this week, but there are some dart throws that I think you can make. With Bryce Young playing a little better, he's slinging it to his receivers. But which one's it gonna be? That I don't know. Xavier Leguette is the rookie. Big boy, pretty solid. David Moore, the new hotness that dominated last week. My man had 20 fantasy points and 10 targets. Then there's Adam Thielen, who I think is probably the best of these 3 receivers, but seems like he's getting eased in. Wasn't really used a lot until the 4th quarter, which drove me nuts. Romeo Doubs got banged up, so if he ends up missing time, I think Christian Watson could be a solid grab. Same thing with Dontavian Wicks. They're going to score in this offense, so it's going to be one of them. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, I've been bringing him up. He just keeps scoring touchdowns, man. I don't know. He just keeps scoring touchdowns. I had to play against him this week. I was furious. Trey Tucker had 8 targets last week. That seems like a lot, but they're going to have a new quarterback, so I'm not quite sure where the targets are going to go. He might be a stash. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is a hit or miss touchdown threat. That dude, there's not many people on New Orleans, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling can get you a deep touchdown at almost any time. Not super excited about this one, but Devon Vele had 9 targets last week. That's kind of a lot of targets. I'm just keeping an eye on this one. And check to see if Keon Coleman is out on the waiver wire. He's only available in 45% of leagues, but with him being out, people might have dropped him. He's worth a check. Before he got hurt, he had back-to-back games with 7 targets. Are you having a tough time at tight end? Don't worry, I got you. Cole Kmet had 10 targets last week. You like to see that? With this new offensive coordinator, I'm curious how this offense is going to look, but Cole Kmet seems to be getting involved. Zach Ertz has had 7 or more targets 4 out of the last 5 games. Probably going to need a touchdown to make you happy, but he can get that. Not sure if Jake Ferguson's going to play. So if Ferguson's out, Schoonmaker will be the guy. I think you can play him. Touchdown upside's really what you're looking for. Speaking of touchdown upside, this feels like you're just chasing, but back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns each, I would be remiss if I didn't at least tell you about them. Noah Gray, back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. That's honestly wild. But you're chasing. But if you're going to chase, I guess, back-to-back 2 touchdown games is something to chase. But above all these guys, make sure that Taysom Hill isn't still out there. He's rostered in a decent amount of leagues, but please make sure he's not out on the waiver wire. He has the biggest upside by far. Also, check for Jonnu Smith. He's getting a stupid amount of targets. It's wild. 11 targets last week is crazy. Are you desperate for a defense? Don't worry, I got you. my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go. Incredible schedule coming up. I told y'all to pick them up for the last couple of weeks, but if you don't have them, they're still available in a decent amount of spots. Going up against the Carolina Panthers, yes, please. And then they get the Raiders with the backup quarterback. Plus the playoffs are looking pretty good too. Yeah, you might want to grab them Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not the best defense, but great matchups. The Washington Commanders get to go up against the Tennessee Titans, who love to turn the ball over. It's a good matchup. Sad to see that they didn't take care of business against the Cowboys, but Tennessee Titans are probably worse in regards to turnovers. Speaking of those Cowboys, you could pick them up against the New York Giants. The Giants are absolutely horrific right now, starting Tommy DeVito. And the Cowboys defense is actually getting healthy. You could probably rock with them, especially against Tommy DeVito. Tommy Cutlets. So who did I miss? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell down below. If you have any questions, hit me up. Good luck on the wire this week. Playoffs are around the corner. Let's get ready. Talk to you soon. Peace.